Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing another version of a Y pipe like so. We'll be working with 4-inch diameter on all three sides. And we're going to give it a 60-degree angle on both branches. And this one's going to be a little bit different. If you looked at my other video, it had a triangular point on the base side somewhere around here. This one's going to be different. This one's just going to be we're just going to work on making the two branches flat on this bottom side, so that way you can just put rolled 4-inch diameter or whatever diameter you decide to do, and then just put it on there, weld it, and that's it. And that, let's get to it. Okay, so let's go ahead and start off by making a 90-degree So we're only going to be doing a mirrored or one side of the Y pipe. So if you can imagine this, we're only going to be doing half of this portion, and then everything else will be duplicated on the other side. So since we're doing 4-inch diameter pipe or Y pipe, half of 4 is 2 inches. So I'm going to count 1, 2 right here. And I'm going to set my compass up at 2 inches. And right now what we're going to be working on is getting that 60-degree. So this is what I do. Put your sharp point right here, and then make a arc like so. And then in the same position, we're going to put it right there. I'm going to strike an arc right there. And that is my 60-degree. And I'm just going to simply make a line like so. Okay, so if you notice, I decided you can make the degree in the very pointed part of the 90-degree where the vertical and horizontal lines meet, but I find that if you make it on the outside right here, it'll be less of a mess when you start trying to figure out the degree here. You put a line there, and then you're only going to end up erasing it because of the future lines that we're going to be doing right now. So yeah, you can this is, like I said, this is just 60-degree. You can make it at any degree that you want, but I would recommend that you put it on the outer part of your Y pipe. Okay, so let's keep going. I'm going to give it a 5-inch length, so I'm going to give it a length from one of the side of the elbow, or not the elbow but the branch, to the very top right here, 5 inches. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then off of that, I'm going to go ahead and make a 90-degree. And make a line like so. Okay. So we said we're going to do 4-inch, so I'm going to count 4 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're just simply going to mirror this right here. Lock it like so. Put my sharp point here now. And strike an arc somewhere right there. And then copy the length, which is 5 inches. And lock it in like so. Sharp point right there. Crisscross the previous arc, and there's your other side. So I'm going to do it like that, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. and I want to go like so. So if you notice, I didn't go past this 90-degree line. You can if you want, but this is just to show you that your branch on the white pipe is going to be restricted within this borderline. Okay, so let's keep going. So 4 inches, half of 4-inch diameter is 2. So we're going to make a center line right down the middle, right here. We're going to do the same thing on this side. 1, 2. And again, we're going to go ahead and make a line across within this 90-degree border. And make your line. There it is. Okay, now let's go ahead and make a half circle based on the 4-inch diameter. So what I'll do is I'll just open up my compass like so, and make your half circle like that. Okay, now what we're going to do is make some dividing pies right here. And we're going to do some crisscross arcs, see if they crisscross each other. That one didn't reach, so I'm going to have to go in a little tighter, like that. Okay. Do the same thing on this side. Center the crisscross arcs to the center of the circle and make a mark right there. Do the same thing on this side. And make a mark. Okay, let's go ahead and divide this 4 more times right here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think I can close this up a little bit more. All right, and the same process. All right, we're almost there. Now, I did want to mention that when you start doing these white pipes within this 90 degree, you just got to make sure that whatever size diameter you decide to do, you're always going to extend from here outwards half that diameter. So if you're going to do, say, a 5-inch diameter, then you're only going to extend from this corner out 2.5 inches. The same thing if you go with 6-inch diameter, you're only going to go half of that. So you're going to go from here out 3 inches. So in this case, since I'm doing a 4-inch diameter pipe or white pipe, I'm only going to be extending from this corner out only 2 inches. So just very important to remember that. Okay, let's keep going. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take these marks that you see right here, and we're going to be extending some lines down parallel to these other 3 lines that you see here, having them hit within this 90 degree border. So just follow my lead. So what are the ways that I do that is by putting a ruler right here on the flat surface of that half circle, and if by any chance you have a 90 degree tool like what I have here, it'll make things a lot easier, but just follow my lead. So here's what I do: put my pencil point right there and then make a line down. I'll move over to the next one, next mark, make a line down. The next one here, and that one kind of moved. Okay, and to the next one. and the next one here, and then the last one. And there it is. There's some lines right there. So yeah, if you have one of these, you can use one of these or even something like this. But if for some reason you don't have any of these 90-degree tools, what you can simply do is just simply mirror this onto the opposite side. So say for instance, make this half circle right here instead, and then start making those arcs that you see here, and then just simply connect those arcs from one half circle to the other. And that's one way to do it. So just a little tip there. Okay, so now let's go ahead and number these. We're almost there on the layout. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So we have 9 lines total. Okay, so now that we have this layout done, now we're going to go ahead and transfer this over to our grid so that we can get the pattern going. So we need to find out what the length is of our grid. So we're going to take the calculator here and do the pi formula. So in this case, it's 4 inches times 3.1416 equals 12 and 9/16. As far as the length goes on our grid, we're going to make it at 12 and 9/16. Now, as far as your height goes, that's pretty easy. What you can do is take the longest line within these numbers 1 through 9. Whichever line is the longest is going to determine what your height is going to be for that grid. So if you notice, let's see, 5 looks pretty long. It looks like 5.5 inches in length. But if we compare to 6, or line number 6, that's 5 3/4. So your height is going to be based on the longest line, and in this case it's going to be line number 6. So since it's about 5 3/4, I'm going to go ahead and give myself some wiggle room. So I'm going to go ahead and do it at 6 inches even. We'll go ahead and start by making our horizontal line. I think I can get some more room here, so I want to go down just a little bit. Okay, so we said 12 and 9/16, so I want to go a little bit past that. And then we said the height, we're going to go ahead and give it 6 inches. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our 12 and 9/16. So if you noticed, I skipped the very tip of tape measure, so I'm going 13 and 9/16, but it's really 12 and 9/16. So 13 and 9/16 is right here. So that's 12 and 9/16. And then our height, we said we're going to give it 6 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now let's go ahead and mirror this on this side. Gonna lock it in place, transfer it over to this side, strike a slight arc here, leave it in the same position, open up your compass to the length. Gonna lock it in place like so. Sharp point here now. Crisscross the previous arc, and there's your other corner of your grid. Okay, so now that we got our rectangle or the outer perimeter of the grid, we're going to go ahead and make a total of 17 lines or vertical lines. So the way to do that, or the way I do it, is 1, 2. So I'm going to go ahead and divide this in half. So half of 6 inches is 3. So what I'm going to be doing is making a dividing line that'll split the grid in half. So one of the ways that you can make those vertical lines, which obviously I take the longer route, but a quicker way to do that if you want, and I've already mentioned this on other videos, you can just simply take the length of these pies that you see right here. See that? They should match pretty close to one another. And then what you do is simply transfer them like so until you get all the way to the very end, and they have to be evenly spaced out. But what I found is this is slightly a little bit more accurate, so I just do it this way instead. So let's see first if I can get these lines to crisscross each other. Okay, perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to divide this in half. Okay, let's do the same thing. Let's go ahead and divide it here and here. So again, we're going to be doing some crisscross arcs. Okay, we're almost there. Now let's go ahead and do it one more time. Divide this, 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 and this. One more time. So same process. Alright, now what I do is I take the distance of one of these pies I think I just need to adjust that a little bit more. Okay, and then what you do is put your sharp point on one of these lines, and what you're going to do is swing over to each side and make a mark. And what that's going to do is help you put the remaining vertical lines on the center of the present vertical lines, and that should help you get everything more or less nice and even, and it'll give us the 17 lines that we need. Okay, now let's go ahead and make some lines. All right, let's go ahead and number these. We're going to go from 1 through 9 and then go back down to 1 again. So just follow my lead. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. We are ready to transfer the stuff from the layout over to our grid. So follow my lead. So here's what you're gonna do. What you're gonna do is put your sharp point along this vertical or a 90-degree border line for every individual line, and then open up your pencil point to the other opposite end of the line. So follow my lead. So let's start with 1. Put my sharp point here and put my pencil point to number 1. I'm gonna lock it in place. You're gonna go 1, 1. So 1 and 1. 2, sharp point here. Open up your compass to number 2. Lock it in place. 2 and 2. 2 and 2. Let's do 3. Sharp point on that line of 3 and open up your pencil point to number 3. Lock it in place. 3 and 3. 3 and 3. 4. I'm going to lock it in place. 4 and 4. 5. Lock it in place like so. 5 and 5. Okay, next one, 6. Gonna lock it in place. 6 and 6. Next one, 7. Seven and 7. We're almost there. 8. Lock it in place like so. 8 and 8, and then the last one, 9. And lock it in place like so. And 9 is right here. Okay, so now that we have this, we're almost done. Just one more important detail. Okay, so remember, our objective here is to make sure that this pipe has or hugs the contours of this 90-degree line right here. So if you notice, what we're missing is that important spot right here, right down the corner, right where the vertical and horizontal lines meet. So everything's accounted for on this horizontal line and on the vertical line except for that corner. So what you do to try to find that point within your grid is very simple. What you can do is run a line. You're going to connect numbers 4 to 5 and then run a line, and it'll shoot right here. And then you're going to do the same thing with numbers 7 and 6 and run a line along, and you'll find this corner right here. So just follow my lead, you'll see what I'm talking about. So watch. So if you connect numbers 4 to 5, which is right here, see, 4 to 5, what you do is you make a line with your ruler, and then what you do is you're going to make a line like so. Okay, you're going to do the same thing on this side. 4 to 5, 4 to 5, and put your ruler right there, and then make a line like so. So now what you're going to do, since you've already ran a line here from numbers 4 to 5, now you're going to do the same thing from numbers 7 to 6 to go across like so. So 7 to 6. So now what you do is get your ruler and line it up with 7 to 6. and then run a line like so. Do the same thing on this side, 7 to 6. So here's 7, and put your ruler to 6, and then run a line across. So now what you've done is you found this corner here, which is going to be that corner and that corner right there. And there it is. Your layout is done. And if everything was done correctly, this should match more or less. So pretty close. See that? And that goes right here. Goes, how does it go? I think it goes this way. Apologize. So it goes like this. And there it is. See that? Pretty neat. Okay, now I just want to kind of point out, say in case you didn't do that, what I explained as far as trying to find this corner, this is what your pattern would look like. See that? You're missing that corner. And if you do it this way without identifying that corner, your Y pipe would end up looking like this. So if you notice, you're missing that corner right there. And that's why it's very important to join these numbers 4 to 5 to find the point, and 7 to 6 to find the point. So that would be the issue right there. Alright, hopefully that helped as far as making a Y pipe. So that is it for this video, and more are coming your way. And like always, if you know of a friend or coworker that can make use of this at work and make life a lot easier, go ahead and share this with them. Just want to make sure that everybody that's into this sheet metal or HVAC just has one more thing that they can take to work and make things easy. On that, I will see you guys in the next video. Plenty more to come. Peace.